Hey family!
Hey family!
Welcome back to another exciting video. Now you know that on our channel we always aim for self-improvement. We review videos, talk about books, just anything that's practical that has been useful to us. And today we're going to be reacting to an exciting video. As millennials ourselves, we are always concerned about how we can improve our life, especially our money.
Of course.
And who will we be featuring today, baby, on the Millennial Money?
Today they're interviewing Marek and Kothney Issa-Bush, and they're talking about their experience living in Dallas, Texas on $56,000 budget. Let's see what they have to share with us.
Yep.
Together we make $56,000 a year.
And we live in Dallas, Texas.
It's a tiny house. Okay.
For the past 3 years I've been teaching. I teach high school math. But since we've moved to Texas, I am taking the year off to get recertified and find a school home here. So in the meantime, I'm just serving while I start taking a few tests.
Yeah, my career in loss prevention started primarily with catching shoplifters, and now I've kind of promoted up to a theft and fraud role where I'm basically investigating large-scale thefts and credit fraud situations.
I actually just recently started 2 new jobs at the same time, serving at one place and bartending at another. I was really excited, making good money. I actually also picked up some tutoring work.
Wow.
Yeah, so I think it's pretty cool how they're not afraid to have multiple streams of income, have multiple jobs. So like for her, she's a math teacher, but she's also okay with being a bartender and being a waitress and being a tutor, right? Because she's adjusting to, moving into Texas, Dallas, Texas. And I think sometimes for us as millennials, we want to accomplish our goals and dreams and we want to go get to that dream job right away. But it's okay to have multiple jobs and to have multiple streams of income. So that's pretty cool.
I find that very impressive, and I like how she's using the downtime. Some of us, we may have lost our jobs, we may have been laid off and anything, but what are you doing in the time that you're off? She's getting recertification. And multiple streams of income is really good because when you're young, you have the time and the energy. So go for it.
Yeah, use that energy productively, right?
Yeah.
Very important.
So now we pay $500 per month to rent the lot here, and that includes all utilities except electric.
So we have a budget set for our allowance, basically anything that fun that we want to do.
So this very attractive looking pie chart, I love this. I think it's really, really important for us to, even though it might be pretty obvious, I think a lot of times we say, oh yeah, I have a budget, but then it's like a liquid budget, like we just kind of do what we want to do and just try not to break the bank at the end of the month. But I think it's really, really important that we have an itemized budget and really, really write down the things that that we do, like our spending, so that we're able to really track our dollars and cents. Because particularly now during this very difficult time, it's really important that we know where our money is going, and tell your money where to go, or else you wonder where it went. Right? So very important.
You're right. In times of uncertainty, it's really good to really track where your money is going. And honestly, especially if you are a graduate just leaving college and everything, and you've never seen so much money in your life, right? Because all this time you've been getting money from your parents, or you're doing a little side hustle that pays you a little bit, and you can have the temptation to, oh, I'm getting a lot of money now and I didn't have this when I was younger, so why not do me? But I really, really like this plan.
It's a really good plan. And, for us, I think, we're looking at ways here that we can probably even cut this down even more, right? You look at, for example, the phone bill. I'm sure there are ways to have 2 phone bills that are lower than $145, depending on, the company you go with. And so that's one thing you could look into. I was also looking at discretionary spending, that's $600 a month for them, and maybe Dallas is more expensive, but look at where you live and look at if you can cut that down as well, just to make sure that you're living within your means and you're building up your savings.
Yeah, and I really like how their savings is actually their highest expense. Well, it's not an expense, but the savings is the highest one, which is
That's
what we should always aim for.
Right. That's awesome.
So we started with $125,000 worth of debt.
Wow.
And now we have zero.
Come on now.
Congratulations.
Come on now. Listen.
This is great.
We're looking forward to being at that point where we can say we have zero debt. And as soon as we get there, family, we're definitely sharing it with you, right?
We will.
Because we're also on a debt-free journey, and we're really looking forward to that point. I think for us, we're a couple of years out, but the idea is being intentional, right? So if you're also on the debt-free journey, or if you haven't started yet and you want to start now, listen, use us as your accountability partners. Let's do this journey together, right? Because we're really wanting to get to financial freedom, and it might be different for you, it might be different for each person, your journey, but the idea is that you're intentional about starting that journey and working little by little to pay off that debt. So let's do it.
Yeah, and really, you can't build wealth for your family or leave a legacy without getting to that point, know. So I'm so proud of y'all. Trust me.
That was pretty awesome.
That I was telling him like we need to buckle down and like start getting out of debt, and he was like, "No, we're young. Let's live it up." And so our first year, we kind of just like spent money and like did like crazy trips.
So I want to live.
We started with lots of debt. I think about 12 debt accounts. We had several credit cards, different pieces of furniture that was being financed. We also had our student loans, both of our cars. Then later into the journey, we bought the tiny house, and so that was our last piece of debt that we willingly went into, and then we were like, no more after that.
Side hustle,
Serving as a waitress was the most lucrative for her, and doing pizza delivery was the most lucrative for me.
We really stopped doing anything but working in order for us to spend time with each other. I would go after work and go sit in the car while he drives around and like delivers pizzas. That was like our, together time.
Seriously, that is our story. I remember the only time getting to spend with Dale at the end of the day is when I'm on the phone with him helping him get assignments done, or when he's driving back to his place having spend the weekend with me, and I have to be on the phone so that he can stay awake because he would drive over 4.5 hours and go straight to work. So wow, I can relate to that.
Oh yeah, I mean, listen, our journey has been an incredible one, and hopefully one day we'll share that with you. Find those intentional moments to spend with those you care for. So I like the fact that they're doing that, even though it's not expensive, because they're trying to build wealth and pay off their debt and build their savings, and so you can do it too.
Since school is also closed as well, I'm not tutoring right now. Right now, jobless.
My job just announced today that they were closing all stores. Fortunately, it is with pay for the next 2 weeks. I don't know what that looks like after those 2 weeks.
Throughout the whole debt process, we've learned how to not spend money, and so now we're able to snap back and do the exact same thing that we were doing before and not really feeling the pinch of it.
I like this because now you see their budget has dropped $1,500, because before their budget in January 2020 was $3,900 and now it's $2,433. And so they've found ways to cut down. So their discretionary spending was $600 before, now it's $150, right? And they've cut down a few other things, right? The gym isn't in there anymore, and there are further things that they've cut out. And so it's about being intentional, right? To find ways that you can live within your means and work to build your wealth. So of course at this point savings also isn't there.
Yeah, that's actually what I was about to comment on, which is really not good. Because you're going through a time, you don't want to be in a situation where you can't maintain your life by saving and doing stuff like that.
But they lost both of their jobs, I know. So that's a challenge.
So all of these are essentials, it seems.
Right. These are the expenses that they have to take care of, and so maybe they use the savings, right, to kind of go towards some of these bills as well. And so it gets difficult, and you realize when you don't have emergency savings, that's one thing we're working on right now, that you get in a jam where you're living from paycheck to paycheck. And I think that's something that we're trying to get out of, right? And so it's important to really try to build that emergency savings and then start thinking about some other ways, right, to gain income.
All the way down to the very minimal amount. It's about $2,000 a month. So if this went on for 3 months, we'd need about $6,000 in cash flow in order to just stay stable and to not touch any emergency fund savings or anything like that.
Okay. So they do have money in their emergency fund. Yeah, so that's really, really good. And if their budget now is about $2,400, this is about 2 months that they have to kind of cover their their bills. And I think the advice is that we work towards having between 3 and 6 months of money to cover your expenses in your emergency fund. So it's really, really important that we all work on that as well. But it's pretty good that they do have that in the emergency fund, particularly during this very difficult time.
During our debt-free journey, we concentrated more on paying down a debt instead of building our emergency fund, which I still feel really good about. I just wish that the year after we got out of debt, that we would have been a little bit more serious building up that fund, because it absolutely could have been built up. We just wanted to enjoy a little bit. Yeah. And I think we enjoyed for a little bit too long, and now look at us.
Yeah. And we're not going to touch retirement accounts. I mean, my retirement account has been on a roller coaster. It's been dipping tremendously, and a lot of people are saying, pull it out, but we believe that it will, resume back to where it was and go even higher.
Yeah, I think that's really, really important. Like, not everyone has a retirement, fund, 401k or 403b with their jobs, because maybe it's a part-time job or otherwise. But if you do have a retirement account, think about, not touching it, right? Let's say, it gets really, really difficult. It might be a good idea to let it stay there, because you're, of course, building wealth for, right, when you retire. And so it's very, very important that you really think about that with, your financial advisor or someone else that you really trust to make those really, big decisions. But don't make rash decisions financially, just because you're in a tight spot in that moment. And so that's a really, really great, really great point.
Yeah, and another thing that I'm learning about retirement is that it's not as difficult as you're thinking. So I'm thinking, just in case you're in a position where your job does not provide that, there are literally agents in banks that are out there who have that skill and who can still, who you can meet with without paying them, right? They're affiliated with these major banks, and you can meet with them, and they can you can start putting little by little away in that account towards retirement at no cost to you. So if you need more information on that, let us know. We can tell you all that we know about that. And another thing is that, honestly, as a millennial, don't think that, oh my God, I'm young,
you got time,
why do
right?
I need to think about, retirement right now? But it's so important, especially to start from now, because you may think that, okay, maybe later when you have more money. No, even if it is $20 a month or a week or so on, every little counts. And you have to think about it, like the earlier you start, the more interest that retirement fund will gain, because remember that there are taxes and all of that will come out of it. So you need a lot more for later. So I think as millennials, we should be flexible enough in our career where our goal is to build wealth. So we mustn't think that there's any job that's out there that's
beneath us.
Right? So you should just have this passion to get out of your situation, that you're not going to be picky and you're not going to pick and choose, what can help you to reach that goal. So it's good to have flexibility, pivot to things that if you lost your job in one area, find a way to, get training on something that's very quick that you can learn about. And you can think of doing jobs that are not even, you don't have a degree in, because guess what? You're on a debt-free and a wealth-building journey.
What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Marek, and I'm here with my beautiful wife,
Kothney Issa.
And in this video, we're going to be sharing with you 6 steps to how we paid off $125,000 in just 24 months.
Whoa, 24 months.
That's pretty impressive.
Listen, guys, I'm so proud of you. That's
pretty
really,
impressive.
Really good.
Awesome job to the bushes. That's pretty great.
Now that we are monetized, we're saying, okay, well, this is something that we can do from our homes and get videos out, and hopefully
using what you have.
People stay at home and adhere to the things and maybe watch our videos. So that's also another.
Don't worry about Netflix. Just come over to the channel.
Go on over to the Simpsons channel.
So our YouTube channel got monetized about a month ago now, I would say. And we made about $500 in our first month.
consider living in a tiny home if it comes to it?
Well, I think if it comes to it, we can adjust to anything,
I think
and
so.
we're
'Cause
minimalists.
yeah.
Right.
It's a door at home.
Yeah, we're minimalists.
We have people in our family that need our help too immediately, so we think of putting our money towards essential things.
Right. I think I'll be excited about just the adventure of it.
Yeah,
right?
comment below if you think that's something we should look into, because obviously, owning a home and having our own space.
And the question is, would you do like a tiny home? Like, what do you think? Like, but of course we're gonna need something to pull it.
Oh, it's on wheels. I didn't even notice that.
It's on wheels, so.
But not every tiny homes have wheels, so I guess there are different versions of
Right. Yeah. So hey, would you live in a tiny house? Comment below.
Even on our channel just a week ago, we were like having fun, making light of, all the bulk buying of the toilet paper and all of that. And
Which is still a little crazy, by the way.
And now one week later, it's like, wow, like our actual jobs are gone, and we've never seen anything like this in our adult working lives. With SARS, we were, kids. Y2K, we were kids. The housing crisis of 2008, we were in high school. So I feel like we're kind of learning a lot, kind of going through this whole process. I would just say stay calm, take a look at where you're at, do everything you can on paper.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. Stay calm, look at where you're at, do everything you can on paper. I think it's really, really important that we, really build accountability in our communities. I think a lot of times as millennials and really in our community, like people talk about their experience from hindsight, like, oh yeah, back in the day, it was really a struggle. Yeah, but we're going through a struggle right now together. And so we should talk about the struggle. We shouldn't be afraid to voice that and voice our frustrations or voice our experiences, because if we have accountability together, then we're gonna get through it together. Right, and so I think it's really important. So I love that advice. Just think about where you are, and he says, put what you can on paper. Like jot down your dreams on paper, jot down your visions on paper. Like, what do you want to accomplish? How do you want to come out of this time better than when you went in, right? And so I think it's really important that you find really, really positive ways to process what you're going through. So tackle your mental health, really take care of, self-care and really address those issues that need to be addressed. And right now, everything is at our fingertips on the internet. So you can access mentors, you can access, self-help videos, you can check out our channel, you can access books.
I like when you drop our channel in there.
Oh, of course, because, we're here to help you and we're here to help each other. And so we're going to get through this thing together. We're going to go together. Yeah.
Another thing I wanted to say is that honestly, I know it's hard as a millennial to not want to travel and explore and live your best life, eat at the most fancy restaurants with your friends and all of that. But listen, if you're on this journey for wealth, all of those things will wait, can wait.
Right.
And so I wanted to just remind you that it's okay to say no. And your true friends who are understanding of your goals and what you're trying to accomplish, they will support that. You understand? So I just wanted to remind you that it's okay to say no. It's okay to look at ways you can cut back. There are honestly some subscription services that you don't need, girl. That you don't need. I was gonna say boy, but I don't think you know what I mean. So I just wanted to drop that in there. And I really think that our best years are ahead of us. We always say, when we were a teenager, we think that was the best years, but being financially free, just not letting your money be so tied up in all of your debt and everything where you can't I say it's freedom, because if you're living from paycheck to paycheck and you don't have the freedom to say, okay, I can make choices that I want, and not feel guilty about it. I think that's a more useful goal to aim for than to live in the moment and then have regret later. So
and it's very important that, of course, you're responsible with what you have now, because the reality is, if you're responsible with the little you have now, then when the opportunity comes for you to have additional resources, then because you've built the habit of being responsible,
the habit,
exactly, then you will be responsible, with when you have more. And so I think it's really important that we learn those lessons and adopt those habits now. And talking about habits, we're in April, right? So hopefully you're still standing and holding on to your resolutions that you made in January or December, and you're still pushing forward, and just hold on to those. And even though you might slow down a little bit, just jump back on it, refresh your goals, re-energize yourself, get inspired and motivated by, things we talk about, and keep going, because there is a reward, there is a goal you have in mind, and if you just keep pressing, you'll accomplish it.
Yeah, we believe in you. You can do this, and we're in this together.
Exactly.
Well, thank you for watching.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for checking out our reaction video. Please like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you next time.